people? Welcome to Culture Check 22, which is a wrap up of everything that's happened in the culture this year. As you can see, we've got amazing panelists. I'm going to do a quick intro. So, first, we've got Charges to the Game, the podcast with the highest analysis that the culture needs. Nominated for Podcast of the Year with Black and Irish Awards. We've got Nesser, one of Ireland's brightest personality, host of her own show called Nesser Pod. 3 seasons under her belt, and also nominated for Personality of the Year with the Black and Irish Awards. We've got Fiona, curator of vibes through her events called Rest Concepts, and part of the Black and Irish team curating their events as well. We've got Oyinza, aka Zeta the Architect, artist, director, producer, fashion editor, stylist. She does it all. We've got Tommy, one third of Where's Your Head At podcast. Just completed their second sold out show of the year, and also doubles as a professional drummer and has performed for the likes of Soulé, Erica Cody, and Felly Speaks. We've got Daniel, creative director, also here at Culture Shock Media, music producer and podcaster as well. And you've got myself, host Opizzy.
Come on.
Now, we're going to go straight into it. How are we doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
A lot's happened this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, that intro is kind of mad.
Yeah?
Puts it all into perspective.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, we've all done... don't worry about that. What'd you say? You know what I mean? And this is why we're here, to highlight the cool shit that's done. And starting with the coolest shit, Def Jam Brunch. That was a major event this year.
Block party, babe. It's a block party.
Oh, Def Jam block party.
It's a block party, bro.
I'm getting corrected because she was hosting it, so she knows the exact thing.
Block party.
So do you want to start it off then? How was that for you?
I think that was kind of a really... I don't even know what word to put on it.
Like, how did that come about for you?
Nathan hit me up and told me he was going to change my life. And I was kind of scared. And then a couple of weeks later, he was just like, yeah, like, what's your email? Sent me this thing. He was like, we talked about different opportunities and different lanes that I'm trying to go in outside of just NesserPod and trying to build myself as a personality and presenter outside of things. But I don't think I could have ever guessed that that's what it was. And the whole process itself was just really amazing in the sense of like working with Universal and like Guinness, like actual brands, and seeing how people do things professionally and how like the questions, none of them were mine. Like I took like different spin on them, put my personality on them, but it had to go through like different people to be approved, and then had to wait to like, and just to see like the level of detail that goes into things like backstage was really amazing. Yeah, it was.
And what was it like to like see the likes of like Reg 32 and, you know, just the different...
Reg 32. So sorry, but like I don't know, like I grew up on like Channel U, if anybody knows what that is. Like I've grown up on grime, so like Reg is somebody, yeah, Channel U and then Channel AKA. But that's somebody that kind of made me fall in love with the UK scene like at a very young age. So seeing him and like getting to speak to him was crazy. And just seeing what he's doing for the UK music scene and stepping back, like he's not somebody who likes his face out there, but he's doing a lot for a lot of the people that you're seeing being built up now on brands and stuff. He was one of the first people to be co-signed by brands, by radios, like all of these things. So to be in the midst of him in the sense of what we were trying to build, it's kind of come full circle where he's kind of done it in his scene and we're trying to do it here. I wish we had more time to speak to him, because trying to learn from what he's done, I think would be completely like so valuable. Like,
yeah, and obviously there was a lot of like different personalities that were there. Like I don't want to name names before I forget any, but like what was it like seeing purely Black and Irish personalities, artists that was there, and you were able to like interview them? Because this would be the first time in Ireland, I would say, that we had something like that. And to see a collective of us in now we have different industries. We have music, we have content, we have, you know, events, and we were able to like celebrate that. What was that feeling like being amongst that?
I think the role that I played in that almost gave me a bit of clarity and confirmation in things that I'm doing already, in the sense that like a lot of the people that I was speaking with, I already have their names in my notes. Like I've already kind of like tried to watch them. Like Simba, for example, has been on like NesserPod, so it's kind of like confirming that the thing that I want to do is being valued by other people, where it's like Universal and other people in the music industry and stuff like have their eye on these people too. And it kind of helped me see that we're very much at the start of something. Like as much as we are creating, we're getting better. We're genuinely at the start of it. And I think it was fun. It was great to see, and it almost gave me a yearning to want more of that, to want more events like that for us, and hopefully to be channeled and kind of driven by us. I think it was a bit weird where it's an uncomfortable situation when you see the people who are actually in these boardrooms and then you see the people that they're actually championing. It's two different cultures, it's two different type of people. It's almost wanting our people who understand us in the room and understanding the importance of the connectors like Nathan and like the Wretch Tree Twos and whatever, right? Understanding their importance in conveying what we do to the outside audience, because we believe in what we do, but it only relates to us. But having to sell that to a bigger market takes a different level of articulation that some of us may not understand. I think that's what it taught me about
You mentioned something important there about selling to a bigger market. And one thing I really love this year is that for us as Black creatives, we were really exposed to a bigger market. And in one way was festivals. Like this year, there was a lot of Black and Irish performers that like, if they didn't headline a stage, they were performing. Tommy, I know you're a drummer and you're affiliated with Erica Cody. Like, from your perspective this year, like how do you rate the festivals and seeing like the Black and Irish people being involved?
I guess the biggest impact of that was Longitude this year.
Longitude.
Yeah. That's when we had
Is that the one, Officer?
Officer, we had
Cello.
Cello, we had
Plantain.
Plantain Pappy, all doing the main stage.
Is that the first year that that's happened?
No, it's not the first year. I think it happened, last time it must have happened was 2018 when Jafaris did, Jafaris did main stage. I think that was the last time it was that kind of big, but this year we had 3 different artists in our scene doing main stages. It's crazy. It's completely insane.
And did you perform in any of them?
No, not this one. But like, I think the scene that is a very good indicator of the shift that's happening. Do you get me? Like, you can see the type of artists that go to these festivals to even perform. Like, a few years ago, you wouldn't have seen like the Stallion and all these, man. Not because they didn't exist, but that was in the market. But now there's a shift, and it's bleeding down to us, and it's giving us opportunity. So,
And do you think like the fact that our stuff is a bit more consumable now that plays a part? Because like you said, in Jafar's 2018, that was what, 4 years ago. To see us make that journey now, it's no coincidence that we're having more than 2, 3, 4 people on stage.
I think it's on 2 fronts. The quality that we are producing is far superior than what it was before. But then I think the kind of society is changing to be more accommodating to us as well. So like, we're benefiting off that and still going as a result. So it's growth on 2 fronts.
Yeah, I'll come back to festivals, but sorry, Fiona, he mentioned something there about the quality of events. What do you think has changed in the quality, or what motivated that change in quality? Because someone from yourself that has been doing events, we've worked together in the past, and to see the growth.
I think the main thing is we're seeing what's happening outside, and not everyone wants to book a plane ticket to go and enjoy themselves. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to enjoy yourself where you live, where you work, and staying in your own city or country. So with the likes of like, socials, especially like TikTok and Twitter, we're seeing what the likes of the UK are doing. And we want a piece of that here. There is still a lot of room for improvement, I believe, but we've definitely come a long way from literally pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. The shift is huge. There's something for everyone now. Before, it was only a specific style of event if you wanted to go out, but now I feel like there's more variety and there's more options to accommodate more people.
And being someone that would create events, like how challenging can it be to cater to demands of people? Because growing up, or like even pre-pandemic, you'd have events and you'd see like not enough numbers, or like people coming off that they didn't have a great experience. How challenging has that been for someone that would put on events? Because I can imagine it can be discouraging.
It is, but I think the main thing for anyone is just knowing your audience, knowing your market. I feel like when you know that first, you kind of don't really, not that you don't care, but you're not as influenced as to what other people would say. Like, even just in the last 6 months, there's been a different style of event for different types of audiences and different types of markets. So people who create those events, they know that, okay, I want this event for people who don't like going clubbing, so we'll do a day party. I want this event for people who like live music, so we'll have, live music at this event and stuff like that. So I feel that's really accelerated the quality and the standard of what we
There
have.
was a lot of brunches this year.
There was. I did one. There was a lot of brunches.
There was a lot of brunches.
Yeah. I think that's heavily influenced by the UK market. I think personally, that's what I think.
Let's touch on that actually, on the UK market, because obviously they're our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Dej, do you feel like it's a fair comparison? Our market and the UK market?
You can't compare it directly because I feel like we're just naturally going to be maybe 10 years behind them, I would say. And it's just purely because of, like, a lot of us, our parents weren't born here. Like, a lot of us weren't even born here. It's our little brothers, little sisters that are born here. So now that we've gone to college here, we know what to do. We're kind of getting into different rooms. Now we can start seeing the growth is going to accelerate. Like, it was going like this, but now it's going to start going like this. Just because we're in different rooms, we're more important now in a certain way. And there's just a lot more of us. So it's fair to compare, but like, you just have to give us the grace. Like, we're still, like, they're teenagers. We're still like infants.
I hear that, but I feel like there's an argument to be made as well that, like, yes, we're finding our feet and trying to put on events that would make people have a great experience. Especially because a lot of our younger brothers and siblings, they're the ones growing up, and to be honest, a lot of the market is to them. But when it comes to the nightlife, what is you guys' opinion in nightlife here in Ireland? Because when it comes to events, we had a really good year in terms of, like, brunches and festivals. But when it comes to, like, natural clubbing, like, I feel that's still not up to par in some levels.
Yeah, my thing is there aren't venues. Like
There aren't
COVID.
venues, or they're not giving.
They're
No,
not venues for us.
no, it's even a mixture of both. Like the actual Irish, mainstream Irish market, the venues dropped by, I think, like 30 to 40% because of the pandemic. A lot of places closed down. So now that the it's very limited, the venue owners are very selfish, and they know they know the typical thing that happens at these things. So they don't want to put their reputation on the line for a community that isn't theirs. Like, I've spoken to a few of them, and they say straight up, they're like, we don't want your events because we know what's going to happen here. But I do see us getting to a place where we can create our own space. I think that's a major thing we're lacking here. Our own
space, in the sense we buy our own buildings and we run our
I don't
own.
see why not. Yeah. I just feel like people don't want to work together to do that.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that the amount of people who have events that could put together a certain amount of capital, and like between there's events that I see people doing from Monday to Sunday, right? And if everybody was not selfish to only want a Saturday night or every Saturday night, to be able to have a working calendar where this is the place that we're gonna go, but there's this place, this one building is gonna cater to different sides of things. This place can be quite central. Like, you can have whatever you want at whatever time you want, and we're gonna own it, and we're gonna have it for our community where it's easier for us to come to, but also putting the responsibility on our community to be like, this is ours. So don't just rubbish it, right? And I think the sense of community is definitely lacking. Like, I'm not somebody from Dublin, so I'm not completely in the community, but I can definitely see the massive divide in the sense that a lot of people hold grudges, or just want to accelerate themselves and themselves only at the detriment of everybody else.
That's very important what you said, and I want to ask a question. Every year, especially when it comes to events, not every year, every couple of months, we see promoter beef.
Yeah, they're main characters, bro.
We see promoter beef. Like, what? Especially if we're doing a wrap up of this year. how would you say that has impacted in people's experience in going out? Because I'll be honest, I haven't been to a club since pre-pandemic in Ireland,
Mm.
and that's due to like my personal experiences. Either DJ wasn't great, we're we're finishing up at half one, people fighting, promotional beef where they're calling cops on each other. Like, how do we get past this hurdle?
I think the problem are the promoters. This isn't everyone. I have to say this carefully. I think some promoters, their primary goal is money, not a good
Only.
night.
The only sole goal.
Only.
Yeah,
It's
their
only
only
money.
goal is money, not a good night.
Yeah.
Like the math is pretty simple. You put on a good night for someone, they associate a good night with you, they return. Simple math.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is money, then you forego the people and you ruin their night, and you're building a bad rep for yourself. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And like the beef between them is just all ego.
But like when that happens, then you see like it filters down to like then the fights that happen in the event. Now that might be separate, but when the promoters themselves are beefing, how do you expect, especially when you say the community together, we don't pull together? That's the same community that's fighting each other at these events. And yes, we it happens everywhere. It happens in other communities, but I feel like ours is to the detriment of further events, and it prevents further events from happening.
See, the thing about that, yeah, I think the reason why there's so much problems and fights and all that is just because it's a space issue. Like, people from Blanche can't go out in Blanche and not go to an event in Tala. Like, we all pretty much, like, we don't go to, like, the traditional Irish clubs and shit, stuff like that, right? So, because we don't do that, everybody has to go to this one event. And, you know, some people have been having beef for, like, 10 years now. But, like, you have to go to, like, if you want to go out, you almost have to go to the same event that the person you have a disagreement with is at. And one thing is going to kick off to another thing. Alcohol gets involved, girls get involved, egos get flared up, and it's going to cause the fight. But if it was a situation where people from Tala didn't need to leave Tala and people from Blanche didn't need to leave Blanche, there's going to be a lot less fights. So it's a proximity thing. Like, it's just too many people all in such a little space, and everybody starts egos start flaring up. And once girls, alcohol, and ego, those three things.
I was gonna say, you keep saying people and men. Like, I feel like let's call a spade, bro. Like, your gender is a bit mad. But like, yes.
All the testosterone needs to be released.
Like that.
But there was one event that I really enjoyed this year, but it was kind of consecutive, which was the Black and Irish Cookout. Were you involved in the planning for that, or is that something you can talk about? Because I feel like, especially as a collective of Black and Irish, um, sometimes or some people feel like, especially with the messaging that Black and Irish portray, the cookout was a good kind of like, okay, let's get the community together. But some people also feel like the messaging might be getting lost.
Okay.
In terms of like, okay, where you're activists, but then you're also doing events. Do you think there needs to be clarity on that, or is that something that has been done intentionally?
I can't really speak fully to the message of Black and Irish because I wasn't there when they're creating their message. But from my understanding of the community is they want to bring Black mixed race people who live on the island of Ireland together. The main reason they do that is obviously through the activism and trying to make societal changes. But I feel like with everything, you also do want a side where it's not everyday fight, 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 you know, like we're fighting for our rights every day. Sometimes relax, sometimes have a good time. And I feel like this year was where you kind of saw the birth of those type of events from Black and Irish, wanting to show that, you know, as much as we are for making change, fighting for our rights, whatever, whatever, we also still want to impact, not really impact, we want to get to those people within our community who may not really care, not really care about that side of what we do. We also want to show that, okay, you can still be involved with us through the entertainment side. And I personally think it was a good angle to have because there were people who attended that cookout who wouldn't come for, I don't know, a political rally or something like that, you know.
But at the same time, they can still see like the messaging that, you know, there's a togetherness, there's a community.
It's to form a sense of community within ourselves. It's to be a place where anyone who is Black can come together and have a good time and meet new people who you may not have seen. Because that day I saw, anytime Black and Irish does something, I see people I've never seen before in my life. And there's always this notion that, oh, we all know ourselves, we're all small and stuff. But really and truly, Ireland is growing at a very, very fast rate, especially when it comes to Black people, with the influx of, international students, with the influx of people moving here with tech jobs and stuff like that. And there are more Black people coming into this country who we don't always have access to. And I feel like these type of events are a way for us to get to connect with those people.
Absolutely, and thank you for shedding the light, because I actually made a friend this year, and he moved from the UK to Ireland, and I invited him to the cookout, and he met a lot of people there that they're now his friends, and it's helped him settle in. So when I say like the cookout was a great initiative, because you guys did it consecutively, I think 3 over the summer, and yeah,
I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but yeah.
but yeah, it was and you guys put also like different DJs on, like you basically gave a platform to different people.
Yeah.
And I really love that.
Hey, hi! I'm Rachel Acano. I'm a multimedia student at DCU, and I'm also a cheeky little singer. Today I'm here to sing two of the songs that I wrote. One's called Peace of Mind and one's called Passing By. I hope you guys like it, and hopefully you'll see more of me in 2023. Touch wood. Yeah.
Also, to segue into this question, that last year we had the Black and Irish Award, Black and Irish Gala, and that was the inauguration. And then this year we have the same, and I feel like it's becoming like the curtain of the year, like where's like the showpiece of the year, and I really love that. For you guys, what is your opinion on the awards? Like in terms of like we have an
Everyone
award
here
show.
is nominated, so
Get your money up, bro. If you're not nominated, get your money up. Get your money up, bro. Get your money up.
Is that really fair?
Get your money up.
Everyone is nominated.
Well,
get your money up. Get your money up.
Like, especially, how do you feel being nominated? Like, to be recognized
do you
for
feel?
the work that you did.
I feel honored. I feel grateful. I feel fulfilled. I feel special. It feels good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we put in some work this year, and like it doesn't add or take away. It feels good to be recognized by your peers and stuff like that. But the same way, if we weren't nominated, we'd still be the same. We still do the same. Come do podcasts every week and just do what we need to do. But it feels good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel good to tell people to vote for you and actually see that people are voting for you and people like actually like what you do enough to. Bro, that Google form was long, bro.
Was it actually?
It was long. And people did that 1 time, 2 times, 3. People are like, again.
Not once,
but
not
people
twice,
still
that's
did
it.
that. And it's kind of like, it feels good that we know that we have that support, especially this whole narrative. Black people in Ireland don't support. Well, they support us, so.
No, I hate that narrative, because it's mainly in Dublin, right? I'm screaming. Pin tweet. But I feel like that narrative comes most of the time from people who also don't support other people, right? And there's a lot of people who have had a lot of like outrage about the Black and Irish thing, right? And I support Black and Irish and I like what they do, but I also have a lot of questions on what Black and Irish's message is sometimes, right? And I've said that to Leon as well, where there's certain things that I feel that can be a bit confusing at times, and I can see why people would feel confused. Same answer I got, and I feel like everybody wants this organization to be something they envision, right? And my biggest problem with Black and Irish, said this already on camera, we need to know what you don't do. We know what you do, and you're doing this and you're doing this. What do you not do? Because if we're coming to you for something that is not for you, for us to come to you to, we need to know that. I think that's my biggest issue with Black and Irish's branding. But with regards to this, I think the whole point of it is coming together, highlighting, like, the fact that you were saying the list is so long, like, we downplay what we do, and I don't know half of the people I voted for. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's amazing to acknowledge ourselves as if nobody else is going to do that.
Why they're doing the awards, to recognize the people
exactly
that
the point.
aren't doing or that aren't getting the necessary support in one area that other people are. Isn't that like highlighting?
That's literally the point. And there's always going to be the people with the most visibility, with the most followers, with the most people out there. That's how social media works. We work on familiarity as human beings. We know what we know and we don't care for anything else, right? There's a bunch of people that I've met at the last one, right? Just everybody sitting here we've all met because we do something similar. Do you know what I mean? Or we found something that you're doing something really inspirational that I don't know anything about fashion. Like, man's friends are in there. Do you get me? Like, it's just kind of like, there's just people that you're going to meet. You're going to meet people who challenge you to be different. And that's what I love about creatives, right? We all are working to do something that may not actually benefit us most of the time. We're working for something else more than ourselves some of the times, right? And sometimes it is selfish. Most of the time it is selfish. But we're all trying to do something outside of the norm. And I think that definitely should be celebrated. Sometimes we can question how it's done, but if you have a problem with how it's being done, instead of shouting online, why don't you approach them in a respectable manner and say, okay, have you thought of doing it this way?
But you're always going to get naysayers, though.
100%. But you're not doing anything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
y'all ain't doing
you're not doing it. Like this is my problem. And I'm not trying to say like I'm better than anybody or whatever, but we all spend time and money and effort into a craft. That have bro, like, sometimes I've done something to get 60 views, bro. Like, I'm crying. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm on my knees.
But people don't see that. People see us like recognized for award for an organization that they do not recognize. A lot of these people do not follow Black and Irish. They don't know that there was a cookout this year. You don't know anything else that they're doing. So why do you care that you're not recognized by the community and other people?
It's not even that. It's simple as reading the caption. We said, "Who do you want to see?" People said, "Why is this person not there? Why did you put them there?"
They don't know how to read.
Exactly.
They didn't even put it themselves.
Exactly.
Because they're too stush, too proud to go and say, look, here's something that I would like. Like, people don't want to be vulnerable enough to say,
Here's a
I
question.
would like to be
Here's a question,
acknowledged.
guys. Do you think a lot of these events are centralized? Like, do you feel like if it was more pushed out, like outside Dublin, you get less naysayers? Or do you think it's primarily a capital city?
I think it's Dublin because like Dublin is concentrated. Like the creative scene is concentrated in Dublin, so it makes sense for it to be centralized.
I don't think it's even an intentional
Yeah,
centrality.
yeah, exactly.
At the same time, right, it's a volunteer, everybody's on a volunteer basis. Like, if they had the capacity to go outside of Dublin and didn't, as somebody from Waterford, and we've talked about this, you're from Galway, like, seeing talent otherwise, then I would question it in the sense of, like, okay, what is your actual message? Is it actual Black and Irish or Black and Dublin? Do you get what I'm trying to say? But at the end of the day, we have people who are working full-time jobs, who are taking time out of their day to try and do these things. Once again, if you have a suggestion, like if anybody says, right, I don't even know why I'm Black and Irish like this. I don't work for them.
Really,
but no, because I just hate people chatting shit, because it's kind of like, if you have a problem and you haven't vocalized it, how do we know that you have a problem?
Yeah.
What you got to
Go
say,
on.
Dave?
No, you know what? Because the thing is, I feel like it's just kind of, we spoke about this a while ago, it's kind of in our culture to not complain. Like, we'll say something amongst people, but actually going through the channels of doing something about it, we won't do that. Like, and I think it's just part of our culture that people just don't complain. Like, yeah, like how many times you go to a restaurant, your food's not nice, it's like, is everything okay?
Better carrying up, bro.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we don't have that inner Karen in us like that. We'll just say, throw out a tweet, this is shit, and then just leave it there.
Do you feel like that's essentially what needs to happen then to break that barrier or to break that cycle?
Yeah, because you need to put, like, we need to put pressure on organizations, right? Like, let's be honest, right? Black and Irish have centered themselves as the hub for things Black and for Black people, mixed race in Ireland. Like, whether they've done it intentionally, they have become the center of where most people go to. Like, brands go to them first, or they're the most visible that we see. There are other, do you get me, right? Whether they want to or not, this is what they are. If I'm saying that these people who are saying that they are representing me are not actually representing me, and I don't go to that organization to say that thing, then you're going to continue
You're part of
not
the
to be
problem.
heard. Because it's a group of maybe 10 people. Even better. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah. And that's why I brought up the the question, because Black and Irish are doing amazing things. But like I said, there are some people that are picking at it, and you can't do cookout, you can't do these different events like the Black and Irish Gala Awards. I'm sure that's costing a little bit, not just money, time, effort, strategic planning. They,
come on.
and then you have people saying like, "Oh, why wasn't this?" I'll slap you.
Straight up,
Like,
on
and
site.
you have to be diplomatic in the sense, so I get it. But to give clarity to people, I feel like it's very important to like own in on the point that what you guys have said there. And just to wrap up on the segment on events, like what one word to describe events this year in the Black and Irish scene or in the culture.
Actually, do you know what? I need to go back. I think people in general need to have grace when it comes to everything that's happening now. Everything we're seeing in our scene is the first time it's happened. So why?
There's gonna be mistakes.
Yeah. So why do you have the expectations? If you have the expectations for us to be as good as everywhere else, you're stupid. No, it's true. Because like, how you expect someone?
But is that
No,
if the standard of and the quality that you brought it out?
Expecting me to do something the first time as well as someone has done it 10 times before.
Which is, I was going to add to the UK conversation, which is what I feel. I think that's the problem with having such close proximity to the UK. People are blinded by what they're seeing right now. Like, they're not seeing the work that was put in. Like, a lot of us have to be the Wileys in our scene, and nobody's ready to be that person who does the work without getting recognition.
And it's also easy to come up with ideas, and like there's some ideas that like, oh, we thought about what you're saying, but to actually do that, do you have 20,000 euros to give us right now? If you don't, well,
Shut up.
do you get what I mean? Like, it's easy to sit
Not
there
even
and-
shut up, speak up.
No, thing is, we're very limited. No, we're very limited with our resources here. And I feel like for what we currently have, we actually are doing amazingly well. There is still room for improvement, but once those resources start to open up a bit more, you will see the improvement. So if people want better, speak to all these big time organizations to open up their pockets. And give
But
us
I'm
the
seeing there
resources.
are more organizations willing to collaborate with us.
Outside of October?
It's literally it's a thought exercise. It is. It is.
But they don't necessarily, even if it's tick box, but like it's still what we need in a way, no?
Okay, but let's go back to the first thing you even said, right? Pre-pandemic to where we are now. There's a lot of these things that we're arguing about. They wouldn't have even like been conceived in our minds to even argue about, let alone happen. So we're in a better place, but we have such a short memory, right? And I feel like it's such a like capital city syndrome. I feel like people just see the one thing and they want things to move so fast without actually putting into it, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, speak up in the sense that, like, if you have a problem, try either fix the problem or come with solutions, right? And I feel like I see a lot of people shouting all the time, and I'm not trying to say that everybody who's doing something is doing it perfectly, but bro, we're trying. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, nobody's making money solely off the things that we're doing. Except for we in there.
I swear.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's
Yeah.
like, back to Tommy's point, grace, man. Like, we're all just, a lot of this is just ideas and things that we just want to do to, like, enjoy ourselves at the end of the day. Like,
So yeah, wrap up the events in one word. Tommy, go first. Growth.
Overall.
Deji.
Yeah, you know what, diversity. I feel like there's been a lot more different kind of events this year.
Love that. Ness. In it.
Come on, man,
Price
no.
of the brick gone up.
Yeah, that's why we're going to pay for that ticket. Anyway, I would say, like, plenty. Like, it's plenty in it. Like,
There was a lot of events.
there's a decent amount of
There was a
things. You
good
get me?
event.
Like,
So like the point that she was
actually, no, saturated. You can take that whatever way you want.
okay.
That's like very opposing.
Yeah.
Well, plenty and saturated.
But the way I'm taking it.
Okay, let's go plenty.
Ron, cut that out. Fiona?
Done.
The past year events.
2022.
I would say no, that's Inception.
I like that.
What's
I'm going to see if I have any more questions.
your word?
Mine would be excellent. Like, I can't fault anyone for trying. Like,
Yeah.
this year, I've seen so many different events that I've never thought possible. And for me, I think, I don't want to say the pinnacle, but the highlight or the main event that stands out for me is the Def Jam. What did you call it?
Block party.
Block party. Yeah. The Def Jam block party, where like it was just great to see like creatives and just different people I know personally be highlighted and in a space with other people that I watched growing up.
Do you know why I don't really agree with you on that one?
Why?
Because they already had a head start.
Who?
Like, I don't think that
Who
should
already
be
had a head start?
like Def Jam, Universal. Like, they're not the same as flipping somebody in our community making their own business. I think that's great. That's amazing.
I understand that, but this time last year we didn't have that.
100%. But exactly.
That's why I'm like.
But like, I feel like it's easy to highlight those type of things without like highlighting ourselves. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, these are people who just saw what they thought were the best people and put them together. I don't think they're wrong in what they're doing, but I don't think that it should be our pinnacle, because we're highlighting somebody else putting us on. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
It would matter more if it was one of us doing it from scratch.
Yeah, but it's basically Black and Irish Gala, in the sense that, like, we're putting ourselves on. Yeah. So because we're putting ourselves on, we're gonna hear the voices and stuff. Obviously, we're gonna lick Universal and O207's ass, right? And this is coming from somebody who was part of it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm screaming, but it's like those things are great. Those things are great and they're part of the scene, but it's not the scene. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think we like the more we start understanding what we're doing and our value in ourselves, the more like these things are gonna happen. These things didn't come because they decided to be oh, what's going on here? No, we put ourselves on so much that they had to come check for us. And if we keep trying to reach for these one thing a year, we might not have one thing a year. We have four or five Irish acts opening for Burna Boy. Like nobody has mentioned that. Like that's amazing. And the more these things happen, like, yeah, these are good. We need people to open the door for us. But these people were doing something by themselves before they were like ever like noticed by all of these other people. And I think that's so much more important than these big brands just coming and picking who they want. 1 year it was Jafaris, 1 year it's Tulu McKay, 1 year it's whatever. Like the more people we have together, they're not going to be able to pick the easy spotted person, you know? They're going to have a handful of people to check from.
The thing is, like where we are in infancy, that's what's going to happen until like they're going to pick the one person that they think is the most valuable and can give the most value. And then once that works, it's like, okay, hold on, let's see if there's more. Then there's another one. And then it's like, you know what, we've taken the gamble on 2, let's do 3 this time. Then let's do 4 this time. And then it's eventually going to be a place where all these brands are going to be like, all right, they have them, we're going to take this one, this one's going to take this one. It's just part of it.
Which is good, but what I'm saying is that we shouldn't value outsiders so much that we don't see our own value.
Is it that we value them or their pockets?
I think we value them.
I think we do value their opinions on us more than we value our own opinions on ourselves. Because if someone from outside comes in and says you're doing a good job, you would hold that more at a higher esteem than if Nesser was to say, oh, you're doing a good job.
You guys are doing a good job.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah,
and
you guys actually are doing a good job.
And I feel like, and that's what I want from Dublin or Ireland is for us to understand our value, because when somebody else gets there, we're not now crabs in the bucket trying to get that person's value, right? We've all helped each other so much that we see it. And when this person blows, you deserve to blow. You worked so hard to do that. Not, they're not even that good. Or their music's not even that. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, no, Yinda, don't kill me, bro.
All right, I'm conscious of time, so we're gonna leave it at there for the wrap up for events. Thank you so much for your opinions, and we're gonna have the music segment next.
Woo! Thanks.